for RotoGrinders, 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation, taking you straight up the lock. It is a big boy slate for sure. It is Wednesday, the day for humping, the day for playing basketball. For every team that they play basketball, every team in the association is playing. The last game happening, it's the Clippers and maybe Memphis. That's not on the slate. But every other game, 14-gamer, and it's kind of front-loaded as well. 10 of the 14 in the first 7 to 8 o'clock hour. I was going to say tip-off, but that's in air quotes. We know that. But, yeah, it's kind of a front-loaded slate where a bunch of teams are playing fairly early. I'll go ahead and drop the situation room in chat as well. All the body parts, all the injuries are monitoring. That is a free link here from RG. Yes, it may or may not be bowl season. We talked about him yesterday. We're like, and then all of a sudden he started, and then he went absolutely nuts. And now Booker's out, and it's bowl season, I think. Maybe. We'll discuss. That's currently, I believe, our best play as far as point per dollar as of right now. If it's not him, it's probably Thomas Bryant. It's myself, Tasteful Tides, Tim Buell, one of the best single entry, 3-entry max specialists out there. Tim, there's no time for nonsense, no time for pleasantries, no time for, I know you like your shenanigans. There's no time for shenanigans. 14 games. What's up?
Yeah, what's going on, Dean? Yeah, huge slate. I mean, this is just too many games for one slate. Like I like the slates like somewhere between like 6 and 8 games. That's kind of like my favorite range. This is a lot to go through. And we have a ton of news that's yet to hit as well that we're gonna have to go over. And yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it looks like it's definitely going to be bowl season. I think that he's going to be the clear. I mean, I can't believe we're projecting him for 60%. I'm not saying it's wrong. It might even be light. I don't know, but like 60% on a 14-game slate, like that's insane. He's power forward only. But yeah, I'm not saying I hate it. I'm probably going to be playing him in single entry, but yeah, he's definitely going to be the clear and overwhelming chalk value today.
By the way, you said you like the 6-game slate or so. Tomorrow night, I looked ahead, 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. It's it starts at 8, ends at 9, 6 games, I believe. So an interesting window, but yeah, 8 to 9 is tomorrow's slate. Late starting, but it's one of those sprint slates. As far as players we're monitoring, Jaylen Brown is questionable. Tyler Hero is questionable with an illness. Several people on Miami are ill. We'll go through that soon enough. Lillard is questionable. The hammy, of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo already out. OG Anunoby questionable to doubtful. Well, DeAndre Ayton's out for like a month, they're saying now. Ball, of course, is out. Embiid can't play the back half of back-to-back. Miles Turner's out as well. Claxton is questionable. Diabate, he was absolutely breaking the slate last time out. I believe you were on him.
I had him.
Yeah, he was good, but he could have been amazing. And he had an eye. And he could not play anymore. And because he has an eye, he's still questionable. But yeah, lots of information, Tim, is going to be dropping as this show progresses, as we lead into crunch time. Crunch time today, you got Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, the returning champ, Neil Orfield, and then, of course, Kevin Roth. Roth holding it down. Yeah, we'll do our best as far as keeping an eye on the news. But as we say,
did I'm sorry if you mentioned him already, but did you mention Ja, who's like a midday questionable?
I didn't, because the list is so long. Ja is questionable, and so is Zion. Zion's questionable. They're on the front half of a back-to-back. I believe they're playing the same team tomorrow. And speaking of, by the way, yeah, every team's playing. Everybody that played yesterday, all eight of those teams, they're all the back half of a back-to-back today. Toronto, Philly, New York, Indy, Chicago, Detroit, Memphis, Phoenix. We don't care about Memphis. Yeah, we don't care about Ja because he's on the slate, Tim.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the one game.
That's the one game they left off. Of course it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that actually makes things a little easier for me, because I was like, oh man, there's another one, but he's not on the slate, so that makes things so much easier.
But at 9:30, PJ Washington is questionable.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
And Dallas is just like out of bigs, basically. So, with Gafford hurt for a while now, and of course Lively gone and Davis gone. Yeah, it's a tough scene. A tough scene for Dallas. We're expecting Prosper to draw the start right now. A good team to match up against, I suppose, when you're out of bigs, is facing Golden State, because you can definitely go smaller there. Draymond, we're projecting him to start at the 5 right now. As far as teams in the front half, it's Golden State, Houston, the Kings, the Pels, the Heat, the Mavs, the Thunder, the Wolves, the Clippers, and the Jazz. Clippers we don't care about. But, yeah, so just a lot going on. They're getting in as many games possible before the All-Star break. And by the way, we don't have time for this, Tim, but this is the perfect time. The NHL Sharks, you love, you salivate when it's the NBA All-Star break and all the dopes like me start dabbling in the NHL streets. You take advantage of them. And what do you know? The NHL's out too. Like, oh, come on. Hockey, what do you – it's taking money out of your pocket, I imagine.
I'm thrilled because I'm in the middle of moving, so this is going to be a really awesome break for me. I'm pretty excited. After this show, I have nothing to do for the next, I don't know, like 10 days. So I'm pretty stoked. All
right, maybe go outside. Maybe we'll go outside one of these days.
I am going to have to go outside, Dean. It's going to be pretty cold and horrible, but I'm going to be doing it.
All right. Anything we want to say as far as big picture? Because it's a lot. But if you got any big picture thoughts, by all means, share them. Otherwise, we'll dive in. It's 14 games, Tim. If there's a game that we're not feeling it, we don't have to force anything. Just say no, this is not for me. We'll move on.
Yeah, there's a couple of those, so we'll have some catch up games.
But you got anything as far as the big picture, as far as your approach, the old 30,000-foot view, or you want to just jump in and we'll figure it out as we go?
I think we got to jump in because I think we got to talk through some stuff. There's a lot of different ways that you can play this slate. So there's not really I don't really have like a core shell of guys that I'm looking to get to. I think that, it's definitely going to be one of those slates where it's going to depend on your lineup construction. And there's multiple ways that you can build lineups tonight. Like you can play, guys like Jokic and throw in some value. You can go balanced. It's definitely, and of course the slate's going to change like throughout the show too. So don't get married to one particular idea either.
Okay, let's do it. Let's dive in. The very first game that we have is the front half of the ESPN doubleheader. The Spurs are in Boston, 234. That is the total, pretty healthy total. Boston, about a 9-point favorite, give or take. Who's in? Who's out? Well, we mentioned before. We know Drew Holiday's out. But Jaylen Brown is questionable. He missed the game last time out. Torrey Craig also questionable as well. San Antonio, nothing new. Bassey's out, not a big deal. Doesn't really affect their rotation a ton. Essentially be the backup 5 if nothing else. But yeah, Spurs, Boston. But I kind of agree with you as far as I don't know if there's like one star that I'm married to. Like, oh, this is the star that I must. It's just kind of like whichever star fits in my build, I'm willing to play 7 or 8 or 9 of them, depending on, and or if I'm having like a little bit of a game stack, I'll kind of work it out that way. But we'll talk through it. But yeah, first half here of the ESPN doubleheader: Spurs, Wemby taking on the defending champs, Jason Tatum. We don't know about Brown just yet. I think we have an if-then set up. But where are you at as far as Boston and the Spurs?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really only looking at this game. Looking at, the whole Brown Tatum situation, like if Tatum were to sit, obviously we'd be playing Brown. And how much of if Brown were to sit, how much Tatum would we get in our builds? I think Tatum would really become a really standout play. The only problem is it's one of the first games on the entire slate. We're not going to have all the news that we're going to need for this slate, even when this game starts. We do have an if-then set up for this, and Tatum stands out as a fantastic play. I mean, he is 9-9 on DK. We would have him projected for, I think, around 55 DraftKings points if Brown sits. Yeah, I mean that's obviously fantastic, but it's really, I think it's going to be hard to know exactly how high you prioritize him though, because of the news that we're yet to get on this slate. This slate is so big. If the slate were smaller, I'd say, oh yeah, you're 100% playing Tatum. But I'm not really sure if you're going to say that. Just because there might be better value opening up later.
Or if we happen to lose Brown, Tatum will project for 54 DK points as a median point, about 50-51 for FanDuel. So he would look really good. Porzingis will look really good. Of course, opportunity cost at center every center playing today. Pritchard would be like a break-even play. We saw Sam Hauser get loose last game against the Heat, but that was 3 points. I think he made 5 3-pointers in the first half. I was watching that game. Probably not necessary, just sort of noting that. Nobody in this game is projected to be heavily owned. And we should also mention, when you're cutting the pie up in 14 different teams, 28 different teams, I guess, all those different pieces, it's inevitable. I can't believe so-and-so is 3%. How is this guy only 4? It's just math. It's just math. That's just how it goes. That you're going to see a lot of really, really good plays that are projected for like 6%, 3%. That's just how that goes.
And those numbers would go way up for Boston if Brown were to sit. Like,
sure,
Tatum would not be 1% anymore. But
correct.
he's not going to get mega steam like he would on like a 6-game slate. Where he would end up being like 65% single entry. He's not, he might get to like, I don't know, 15 or 20%, just because there's so many games, and a lot of people, I think correctly, like to backload their teams. So he's not going to become mega chalky.
Pacers, Wiz, 243 is the total. That is a big boy total for sure. Potential blowout and layaway. Pacers are 10-point favorites here. Although I think they were playing the back half of back-to-back, right? They did play yesterday. Who's in, who's out? Well, Washington, there's no Gill, one of their bigs. Sarr is expected to be available. We haven't seen him in a while. Jumping in that starting lineup, that's where he's projected right now. Marcus Smart, not in. Middleton is still not with the team. Who knows what the story is with that? That's not good. We know Miles Turner is out for Indiana. Nothing else really of note. Walker is questionable, but not much going on there for the Pacers. Otherwise, we saw Thomas Bryant go off last game, at least offensively. He also got absolutely,
he got destroyed. Cat destroyed him. I'm so mad that I played Jalen Brunson. I had Towns clicked and I was like, no, Brunson projects better. I'll play Brunson. I'm such an idiot. It was such a bad play on my part. Yeah, but he got crushed. He got crushed by Cat.
Destroyed him, yeah. Brunson got in some crazy foul trouble too. I'm sure you saw.
True.
He had 5 fouls in the third pretty quickly. He was benched. I think he might have played like 17 minutes before he mopped up at the end, which is weird, but they gave him a little bit of run. But he's as well rested as you can be in the back half of a back-to-back. Revenge game for Thomas Bryant. Going into yesterday, I was kind of bouncing back and forth as far as Bryant and Toppin. I think it's possible that flips today. Like, again, it doesn't. Nothing says that like for sure Bryant's going to be the guy. I think Toppin's a really interesting tournament play if you're running 150. I don't know if I have the Konas to play Toppin in like single entry, but you can get him for like nothing. And just if you don't play Bryant, right, you just play one of those two. Pascal, of course, looks really good here against Washington. Washington's just a fantasy feast. I'm always a little wary of the Pacers in back-to-back stuff. They tend to, be a little bit more willing to extend, the bench, cut minutes down a little bit for their starters. And this, again, potential blowout too. I'm trying to think of ways not to play too many Pacers, but certainly they project well. Pascal projects well. Bryant projects great. What's your approach for Indiana and Washington?
I just don't really want to play Thomas Bryant if he's going to be the second highest owned player on the entire slate, which is what he's currently projected for. That's my one issue. But in a vacuum, he's a completely fine play. He's 5K in an amazing spot. Like, we always want to stream against the Wizards, so I don't mind it. I'm worried that I'd be just eating a lot of chalk like very, very early on the slate. That's what makes me a little bit hesitant on Thomas Bryant. And you're kind of, you're using up a center spot where we have, so I'm a little bit hesitant on Thomas Bryant. I think he's fine if you want to play him and take up your early roster spots. I think it's fine. I don't think he's a bad play, but I think he might just end up being a little bit overowned. I did run Sims before the show, and I'm only getting to around 9% of him. So he's not simming very well, which I'm actually not that surprised about. So I think if you're making like a portfolio of teams, I'd be coming in underweight on Thomas Bryant.
But I'm going to ask you, single entry streets. He's 40% currently projected right now. That's for like a large field, the lotto where like thousands of people are in. It's going to be single entry. People get a little less ambitious. They play a little bit more chalk stuff. He's going to be, I guess things can change, whatever. But as things stand right now, he would be like 60% in that, I think at least.
Yep.
How seriously are you considering not playing him in that? And if you don't, would you consider playing Toppin or just neither?
I'm strongly considering, like almost positive, that I'm not going to be playing Toppin or Bryant.
Okay.
Like if we get a ton of news, before 7:00 and it's still Bryant is popping like crazy, I might change my mind. But if we're still like waiting on a lot of stuff later on in the night, I'm very confident that I will not be playing Thomas Bryant in my single entry team.
What about a different pacer? Because they have a monster total. Do we like Pascal?
So we really like it's under 4K on this slate is really, really bad. I mean, there's plenty of guys like kind of in that low 4 range. There's quite a few options, but under 4K, it's really, really ugly. And I know he doesn't play necessarily a ton of minutes, but I think due to the fact that he takes up shooting guard and a small forward, and he's against the Wizards, I don't hate Aaron Nesmith.
You didn't play him yesterday, did you?
I did not. No.
He got in foul trouble. He played 13 minutes. He was horrendous. Yeah, I had Nesmith on my main team yesterday, and I was buried early, so I didn't even think about, I should probably switch the bull if I can. Late with the news, it couldn't salvage me. I don't think so. But the laptop was closed. It was closed pretty early. Yeah, but I guess he can bounce back here. But it was horrendous yesterday, is all I'm saying. And he's not a big usage guy. I don't know. Yeah. But sure, it's Washington and they're the cure-all. I think Halliburton's an interesting play that nobody's going to play. Like I say, nobody.
He's not going to be owned at all.
Yeah. Just everything. They're a fantasy carnival. Washington, just kind of like, if you're not playing Pascal, if you're not playing Bryant, I feel like you should probably play a pacer on every team. But I don't really like hard and fast rules. But I'm okay with one of those three on any team I make. Did you give a thought as far as Washington? I guess the best run back is probably Poole if this game is close. We're giving Sarr 26 minutes for what it's worth. We haven't seen him in a while. I don't really like Washington. Everybody else is kind of priced up where they should be, because Sean George.
Yeah, I don't think there's really any crazy good value spots for Washington here. I think I agree with you. Like if I were to pick one, it would probably be Jordan Poole. Really though, I'm not going to be taking up a center spot with Sarr. And I think Koulibaly is kind of fully priced now. Carrington, I suppose. I mean, Carrington could go off, but I think he's a little bit overpriced now as well. So I mean, this Washington team for me is a pretty easy cross off.
Okay, let's move on. Hornets, Magic. I think this might be a catch-me-up game. 203 is the total. Suggs just officially ruled out for Orlando. Has he been questionable, doubtful for like 2 weeks now? I feel like he has and just not played.
Yeah, we haven't had him in projections in quite a few games, I'm pretty sure.
So, yeah, nothing new with Orlando. Suggs is out. Mo Wagner is out. Ball is out. Diabate is questionable. Mann, Miller, Okogie, Mark Williams, whatever nonsense is going on with that trade, he's not with the team. I don't know. They're filing a lawsuit possibly with the league. Whatever. Wong is available with his foot. I guess if we lose Diabate, how many minutes can Nurkic play if we lose Diabate? It's kind of an interesting question. He's available. They say his minutes will be monitored. We haven't seen him play basketball in a while either. What are you projecting him for? 16?
16.
But what if we lose the minutes for Diabate? That's 27. They have Taj Gibson for 6. I guess they can play Salon.
Salon.
But do we care? Do we care about any of this? Are we playing anybody here?
Probably. I mean, honestly, probably not. Because you're not playing Nurkic. You're not going to be playing Taj, obviously.
No.
And with Nurkic back in the mix, Diabate is not going to win you a GPP. So I mean, and then if Diabate sits, I still don't think it really matters. So I think Charlotte's a pretty easy cross off for me.
It's weird, right? They're so thin, and they can get even thinner, and we kind of don't care. You know,
I mean,
prices haven't dropped.
Nick Smith at 4,500, okay. I guess, but I mean, they have a 95 point total. When was the last? I don't remember the last time I've seen a total.
It's pretty low.
So low. And currently he's getting a lot of ownership. So I don't know if I really want to play a chalky Nick Smith on a 14 game slate. So that does concern me a little bit. I'm assuming and hoping that there'll be better value that opens up before lock. But that's value. I'm not locking in early. There's no chance of it.
KJ Simpson's also a guy that's going to get some run, but the price is kind of adjusted, and he's not great, right? Mm-hmm. Like we're giving him 29 minutes and about 21 fantasy points, which is fine as a median number. The matchup against Orlando is not spectacular. You like anybody on the Magic?
Not particularly. I mean, this game total is just so ugly. I don't really have any. I always kind of like Franz Wagner. I think he's okay. Paulo Banchero also I think is okay, but I mean they would just be small pinches in a large field set.
That is the 7:00 games. Moving on to 7:30. Let's say what's up the chat. Did we officially say hello to chat? Hey, hit that like button and subscribe and turn on those notifications. Do all those things to help us keep the lights on. You mentioned what was it? The SimLabs you mentioned earlier. If you want to learn more about that, watch the Blender show. Blender Monday through Friday. He's going through Monday through Wednesday. Monday through Wednesday. He's like going through the sim stuff like at noon. I want to say. Obviously, like the parts are going to change, but the concepts, the principles that he's teaching you are very important. And I think you can get access to that. Just that, like there's partial stuff like for $29 and change for the 4 majors. I shouldn't say 4 majors, but the 4 majors were golf replaces hockey. When they football, baseball, basketball, and golf, and you can get for less than $30 a month. If you don't want to get the full package, you don't want to get the full deal. You don't want to get everything. You don't want the written content and stuff for MMA and all that. You can get it on the cheap. That's all you want. That's all you need to help get you some sim lineups. Okay, Atlanta, New York. That is 7:30. 241 is the total. Good environment here. New York is a 8-point favorite. I believe we have ruled OG out, just like they made the call yesterday. I believe they made the call as well. Now this could change, but as of right now, we are ruling out. Our projection team is ruling out OG Anunoby, who's currently questionable. So just be aware of that. Other pieces, McBride is questionable for New York. And for Atlanta, Jalen Johnson's out for the season. Krejci's out. Larry Nance is out. Trae Young is probable. Is Capella projected for minutes? He is.
He is.
that whole situation is so weird. Okay. And we saw they started Mohamed Gay last time. Atlanta is pretty thin these days. It's Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, and a bunch of dudes. Against Okongwu. Levert's there as well. Niang's. They brought in some secondary pieces, I suppose. We're projecting 18 minutes for Gay for what it's worth. Yeah, back to back. Again, we're assuming OG is out unless otherwise noted. How do we feel about the Hawks and the Knicks?
Yeah, I mean, this should be a game that we like from a fantasy perspective. But honestly, I only really like it from the New York side. It's a 240 total. The Knicks have a 125 point total, which is fantastic. I mean, going right back to Cat or going right back to Jalen Brunson, I think is are fantastic ideas on the slate. I'm getting to quite a bit of both of them in Sims. So again, I mean, that's really not surprising given the matchup. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind Josh Hart either. I would definitely make rules though, just have one Nick. I wouldn't go multiple Nicks here just due to the pricing. So I pick one of Brunson, Hart, or Towns. I don't know if you can. I don't know if I really want to get to anyone else from New York. On the Atlanta side, I just think that Trae Young is just a little bit too expensive. I know that he can break a slate anytime, but we really have to be, I think, particularly selective on the slate what we do with our high priced guys. So I honestly am going to be out on Atlanta.
Yeah, I would probably only play Trey if I'm running it back with either Cat or Brunson. So, that's sort of where I'm at. A little bit of a mini game stack. I'm fine going back to Brunson. I know he failed us yesterday, but he was just in foul trouble. What can you do? He's currently projected for 18% ownership, Cat around 18 as well. Young for 14, Hart around 10. You mentioned New York having a 125 team total, and the other part of that, of course, is how concise their rotation is. Those points are not delegated out to a bunch of dudes. It's just like 5 or 6 people, basically.
Yep.
Again, especially if OG is out, we want to be on alert for that. Let's see. Brandon Ingram said he's without a timetable return. Okay. Still waiting for. We knew he was out tonight, obviously. Just getting news trickling on through. Anything else here for Atlanta and New York?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Cavs, Raptors, kind of a blowout on layaway, right? 13-point line here. 237.5 is the total. Speaking of those Raptors, yeah, they're going to be without Brandon Ingram, who they just traded for and then extended. Gave him a couple more years, I believe. Let's see. As far as who's in and who's out for this one, Ty Jerome is questionable. Okoro is still out. Strus is questionable. Dean Wade is out for Toronto. Pirtle, of course, is still out. No Ingram, like I said. And somewhat surprisingly, I thought there was a chance that Quickly would sit today on the back half of a back-to-back. It doesn't appear like he will. He's not on the injury report. And they played him like 32 minutes, 31, 32. So the most he's played in a while as well. Yeah, Cleveland and Toronto. How do we feel with the Cavs and the Raptors?
I mean, we are definitely worried about a blowout in this game. I know that they also have 125 point total. Cleveland does, but I think this game has a real serious chance of blowing out. But I don't mind Evan Mobley or Jared Allen. Jared Allen is showing up a little bit of projected ownership. I think 6,400 is a really, really nice price tag for him, though. I mean, he could easily go high 40s, low 50s in this game, and I would not shock me in the least. So I don't mind Jared Allen. I think Evan Mobley is worth a large field GPP flyer just because we know that he has a ceiling and he does have that power forward eligibility. So I don't mind those two guys. I think I'm probably out on Garland and Mitchell. I'm not interested in any of the bench pieces for Cleveland either.
Yeah, we talked about in the past about how vulnerable Toronto is on the glass for rebounds when they're without Pirtle. So yeah, you can certainly see a spike in rebounds for Allen, and if not Allen, Mobley, one of those two guys probably the big rebounding game. That is our biggest projected ownership piece right now in this game on DK at 8% for Jared Allen. Quickly at 6%. A little bit concerned about them, playing him a bunch of minutes again in a back-to-back, back half of a back-to-back. We're giving him 28 for what it's worth, so they're kind of baking that in. But if they play him 32 again, okay, I guess he could be interesting.
I was gonna say I don't necessarily hate Quickly here, but I know that if he doesn't get over 30 minutes, it's not going to be pretty. But I mean that price tag is just too low for him. So I don't necessarily hate getting into a little bit of Quickly, because I think he can easily really, really pay off that price tag if somehow this game stays close.
Third game in 4 nights, back half of a back-to-back, coming back from injuries, and he played 34 minutes yesterday. All that to me just says it would be kind of malpractice to play him 34 minutes again. And Toronto probably doesn't really want to win in theory. They can take an L. They don't mind. Again, I don't know. But like if he plays 32, sure, I like it. I'm just concerned with his minutes, and just the game could just fully blow out. Then they wouldn't have to worry about any kind of minutes restriction for him. Again, I thought there was a decent chance he wouldn't play today, so a bad read by me. Okay, we're moving on. Yes.
Yep.
Philly and Brooklyn. I told you Embiid wasn't going to play though. I told you that. Good read by me. I was on top of that one. They actually had the audacity to initially list them questionable. Like, get out of here. Are you serious? 212.5 is the total. Brooklyn is a 3-point dog here. Who's in, who's out? Well, Embiid, Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, David Roddy still not available here. I think he's in the G League. He's on Philly. Brooklyn, Clowney's out. DeAnthony Melton is out. Cam Thomas is out. Nick Claxton's out, which is kind of a big deal. I don't know if it's a big deal, but I think that if he doesn't go, Day'Ron Sharpe would be pretty interesting. I don't know. Maybe
Claxton's. You said Claxton's out.
No, he's questionable. Clowney's out. Did I say out? My bad. I didn't mean
maybe I could have misheard you.
Claxton officially questionable unless something has changed. I was just saying if he doesn't go, they're getting thinner. I guess against Philly, you don't really need a lot of bigs these days without Embiid. Yabusele is going to start at the 5, I presume, for Philly. But Day'Ron Sharpe could be an interesting piece if we lose Claxton. Otherwise, this game is kind of gross. You tell me.
Yeah, I think this is one of the easier catch-up games on the slate. Like, I really have no interest in either team. I mean, this is not a good. This is not a very good game environment for DFS, except for the fact that the spread is slightly close. But the way these two teams play, really not great for strong DFS outcomes. So for that reason, they're pretty clear X outs for me. I don't think I'd have any exposure in like a 3 max. I might not even have any exposure in like a 20 max of this entire game, unless we get some of those bigs missing, like you mentioned for Brooklyn. But honestly, as it sits right now, I have no interest.
Pistons, Bulls, 236.5 is the total. Pistons are 6-point favorites. I don't know if you caught any of this game yesterday, or at least the first half.
I wanted to, Dean, because I had exposure to it, and then I looked at the score and I was like, forget it.
I want to say it was 71-29 at the half.
It was because I was gonna watch the second half, and I was like, "No, I'm good."
Amazing, man, so bad for Chicago. They might have won the second half. They did put up like a good fight the second half. We'll give them that. They still lost by 40, I believe. So maybe they pushed. Lonzo Ball is doubtful with an illness. He's got an influenza illness. Vuk is officially probable with his ankle. He's got an ankle sprain. The Pistons, nothing new. Jaden Ivey's still out. He's got that leg fibula, and everything else is kind of standard. Nobody of importance is out. We saw Cade have a big game yesterday until it was just he had too good of a game because then he got pulled. He barely played in the second half, or at least didn't play the fourth quarter at all. Ausar Thompson was awesome. Man, the defense, the Thompson, I don't know what camps they went. I assume they went to like the same camps and same coaches, but man, wherever they learned their defense from, the Thompson twins, just spectacular.
Oh, Dame is ruled out.
Oh, that's exciting stuff. Okay. We'll
talk about it.
Yeah, that game's coming up soon. It's an interesting one because there's not like a clear and obvious play. I don't think there is. Maybe we'll see what projections say. Like it might be Kevin Porter Jr., which makes me want to throw up, but it might be. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Chicago. Will they score 30 points in the first half? Is there anybody in the roster that gets you? Buzelis is kind of a cheat.
I think Buzelis is fine to go back to. I really do. I honestly, if I was making like 20 teams, I might throw in like one Vucevic. I think that's decent. I don't know, but this Bulls side is pretty ugly. I will say though that of any player that's 10K or above on the slate, I'm getting the most of Cade and Sims. I think Cade is a really exceptional GPP play. I don't think he's going to get super steamed in GPP. I think currently we have him around 12%. Let's say single entry, he gets like say in like the $50 or the $100 or the $40 single entry stuff. Maybe he gets up to like 25. I don't think he's going to be super popular. But he is, to me, the priority kind of like top echelon spend up, assuming nothing changes. We could get guys like like Luka being out, right? That could change the slate, or something like that. But as it sits right now, Cade is certainly my favorite of the 10K plus players.
I know you were just making a point, but Luka has been upgraded to probable.
He was okay. I actually thought he was still questionable. Well, I'm glad you told me that. It's just one less thing to worry about, to be honest with you. So yeah, yep, yeah. I mean, but I absolutely love Cade tonight.
I do too. He had a streak of 6 or 7 games in a row. This is just like game log watching of at least like 52 DK points. And it was broken last night because he smashed too hard in the first couple quarters and the Bulls couldn't keep up. But yeah, he's been really awesome. The leap he's taken this season has been spectacular. Just the team of the whole. Shout out to Detroit, at least going forward. They're making some progress in Detroit. Ownership wise, they're at 12%, K to 12. Yeah, I love K to 12. That holds it anyway. Buzelis is now up to 5K, which is a little bit concerning for me. Like, sure, we can pay that off, but I liked him better when he was 4K. Tim Hardaway, we talked about Tim Hardaway yesterday being the worst fantasy point per player on the slate. Is that still the case? Now everybody's playing. Now that does not account for rookies. For some reason, rookies aren't in there. Oh man, Kessler Edwards at 0.21. That's amazing.
Wow.
Zeke Naji at 0.5, 0.52 Gary Harris. Tim Hardaway by 0.59 for the record. Josh Green 0.55. But I didn't realize that Kessler Edwards is at 0.21. It's got to be like really. I know he's not playing a ton of minutes. It's got to go higher than that. But you're not rostering him. Just thought that was interesting to point out. Anything else you got as far as Detroit and Chicago?
I think we can go back to Jalen Duren.
Yeah, I do too.
He was very, very popular yesterday. I rostered him. He did horribly from a DFS perspective just because of the blowout, obviously. But if this game stays close, I think we can go right. I think he's a very, very viable GPP play. I might try him again tonight, to be honest with you. He's not going to be as chalky as he was yesterday. Not even close.
Speaking of blowouts, my Miami Heat are in OKC. 223 is the total. They're currently 14-point dogs. A lot of illness going around. Duncan Robinson, Terry Rozier, Jaime Jaquez, Tyler Hero all had the fish. They're all questionable. Robinson and Rozier had the fish last game and didn't play it. I think those are the two. Wait, am I getting those right? Jeez, I'm trying. I'm confused. Who didn't play last game? It's just the sickness is going through Miami, basically. And all 4 of those guys are currently questionable. Love is out as well, for what it's worth. As far as OKC, they're not going to play Chet. No Chet tonight. They're going to rest him. Kason Wallace is out as well. Dieng is out. Not a big deal. Mitchell's out as well. But yeah, OKC, just kind of looking through. Last game, they beat New Orleans by 36. The previous game beat Memphis by 15 or so. Toronto by just 10. Phoenix by 30. Milwaukee by 30. Sacramento by 30. They're just amazing. There is no Chet in this game. But yeah, I don't like this game if everybody plays for Miami. You can always play SGA. It feels like he's getting shortchanged the fourth quarter a ton with all these blowouts. Like if he ever gets a fourth quarter, he gets it on occasion. But I'm curious your thoughts. Certainly, if Hero's out, usage will be delegated, but it just means Miami's going to lose by 25 probably. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know if Hero being out really necessarily does anything for me, other than I know you. I might get a booed off the court here, but
Terry Rozier?
No, I was gonna say
Don't
Alec
say there or
Burks.
there.
I was gonna say Alec Burks.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, he's only 3,500. He's shooting guard eligible. He's been putting up, over, or over 20 DK points his last two. If he gets over 20 minutes, we were talking about how thin super cheap value is on the slate. I don't hate it. But that would really only be for me if Hero sat.
Our guy J3 in chat is booing you, Tim.
It's fine. It's fine. I did probably deserve it, but I don't think he's a horrible play.
I'm just saying this. If you're catching me playing Alec Burks on a 14-game slate, some kind
I
of
know,
weird
but I mean, it's tough because like if you want to play like a 2-stud lineup, you have to find one or two of these cheapies.
I was trying to see. We don't have an if-then set up for Hero, do we? We have an if-then for a bunch of dudes, but there's only so many you can make.
Yeah, I'm sure it was pretty tough to do the if-thens today because there's just so many things to do.
Yeah, Rozier's questionable, Hake is questionable, Hero questionable, Robinson questionable. Also, this is the front half of a back-to-back for Miami. I believe they're in Dallas tomorrow night. I mean, they might just throw this game out and like whatever. If you throw it out or not, either way, you're going to get shellacked, right? Because OKC they always take care of business. And they have other bodies, right? Just they have Anderson's there. Wiggins can play 35 minutes if you think this game stays close. Bam, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't feel good about anything. I guess if guys start getting ruled out, which will probably get some of these sick guys out, I would imagine. I know I was reading the tweet. Was it Ira? Ira Winterman. He's the best Miami beat. That's the one you want to follow if you want Miami information. He's been there forever. But I think was he the one talking about like the planes that they had the different planes to get out there because of all the sickness. Players aren't ready to go.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yep.
I anticipate at least one or two of these guys to not play. But I mean, they have Davion Mitchell, who might draw the start actually if we lose Hero. But there's nothing I'm really thrilled about. But I think we possibly fall into something. But that's the best I can do right now. You got anything else?
I think it might be Alec Burks. Eric Johnson did have a question about Hartenstein on the other side of this game. He's right around that same price as Duren. I kind of prefer Duren than Hartenstein. I don't know how you feel about that, Dean, but I'm not too thrilled with any of these Thunder starters just because this is not a very good pace spot, and Bam's a pretty good defender. So I guess Ware would probably guard Hartenstein, but still, like, I think I'd rather play Duren.
I think so too. I mean, his minutes are a little more secure, obviously, with the with Chet not being in, but there does seem to be a pretty severe blowout potential here. So, and is this a front half of a back-to-back for OKC as well? I don't think so, right? I think it's just they're on the front half as well. Yeah, so both these teams are on the front half. They both play tomorrow. I don't know where the Thunder play tomorrow. Actually, I do. They play at Minnesota on TNT. I got nothing else as far as this game.
Yep,
you got anything?
Nope.
Okay. How's our pace going? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 remaining and about almost 30 minutes until crunch time comes in. I think we're doing all right. Right? No nonsense, no shenanigans, and when we're staying on task. Any news coming in and trickle on through on the last so many minutes? Jonathan Isaac is questionable. Do we care? Don't think so. Right? Do we care if Isaac doesn't play?
It's kind of a funny one because Tyrese Maxey now questionable.
There it is.
Yeah. I was wondering if something was going to happen with that. That's interesting.
So it's not just going to be him, right? Or is it just going to be him?
Well, I don't know. I was kind of thinking they were going to sit like all of them, or I should say like Maxey and George.
Philly is, I love my tankathon. Philly and Brooklyn are 6 and 7 right now in the tankathon. Just you want to put on your,
I really need to start keeping better track of the tankathon because I don't. I don't pay attention to it enough.
Well, Washington's got 3 games and they've only won 9 games the entire season. So they don't even have to like tank anymore. Basically, they're probably not going to win that many games. And just the tank takes care of itself, but it's going to be brutal as we close in. But yeah, 1, 2, 3 is currently Washington, New Orleans, Utah. And Utah, all season long, they've been playing their guys against good teams and resting against bad teams, not even trying to disguise it. Like, yeah, we're going to lose anyway. So whatever. Charlotte is 4, Toronto 5. Brooklyn is 6. Philly is 7. Portland won too many games. They're now 9. They went on a run. But okay, we'll get back on task here. The next game up is just Maxey. Is that the only news that came in?
I believe so, yep.
Who would be the guy if Maxey? Have we thought that far ahead? Who would be? God, there's Ricky Council, Jared.
I mean, would it kind of just be like Paul George?
God, I don't know if Paul George can like do it anymore. Can he still be that guy? Can he still be the alpha?
What about Kelly Oubre?
Maybe. I don't know. They just got Grimes, but we saw what he started the second half last game. We've seen Grimes in Dallas have games where he can score a bunch of points and take some shots. But there's Jeff Doughton they might dust off. It's going to be bad. I'm not saying that Philly wants to lose this game. That's all I'm telling you. They're perfectly fine losing this game to Brooklyn. The other part is Brooklyn kind of wants to lose too. Maybe they counter and rest Claxton. Stay tuned. Okay. Sacramento, New Orleans. That's the next game. 238.5 is the total. Sacramento is a 6-point favorite here. Who's in? Who's out? Let's check the body parts. This is a 8 o'clock game. Yeah, 8 o'clock. Sacramento fully healthy. New Orleans not fully healthy. No Boston. They finally said that Herb's out for the year. Herb Jones is donezo. McCollum is available. DeJounte, he's also done for the year. Kelly Olynyk not with a team. Zion midday downgrade for conditioning. And they play tomorrow. I think he doesn't play tonight. We'll see. Stay tuned. Yeah. Kings, Pels, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, definitely pay attention to this Zion news. I mean, if Zion were to sit, I'd really like to play Trey Murphy. I just love how he's been playing lately. He's not going to be owned. He's only 8,200. He's shooting guard, small forward eligible. So if Zion were to miss, I think Murphy would make a spectacular GPP play. I don't really like anyone else from the Pelicans. Perhaps I should though, because this does seem like a really, really good game. It's it's high and tight, right? It's a 238.5 total.
Oh, yeah.
It's only a 6 points. Yeah, I mean, it's only a 6-point spread, which is not that bad. Really, really high total. I think my favorite play from the entire game is probably Malik Monk at 7,500. I think he definitely has a really, really solid floor. I mean, we have a medium projection of him for 40 fantasy points at 7,500, which is a really, really solid projection for that price. I don't really know what to do with Sabonis in this spot, just because I'd rather play Cat in that same price range. So I think I'm probably going to be out on Sabonis. But if you wanted to take shots on him in GPP, I certainly wouldn't fault you. And then DeMar DeRozan at 7K. He's been putting up these like random, like amazing spike games. So I would definitely be getting to, maybe around 10% of him, maybe a little bit under the field on DeRozan. Probably not somebody that I can get to in 3 max. But I think Monk is definitely somebody that you could play in single entry 3 max. I have no issue with that at all.
Sabonis is my favorite play in this game.
He is. You like him better than Monk?
I do, but I don't know if I like him better than. I think I like better. You said Cat, like some other centers.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I can't click on Sabonis most likely, is because I'd much rather play Cat in that same pricing tier.
And I also like him more if Zion's out. Yves Missi is a rookie, and he looks like a rookie when he's playing defense. He's a horrible defender. And Sabonis is he's got all sorts of inside moves. He's the best rebounder in basketball as far as rebounds per game, more than anybody else. I called in the survey today. My bold call was a 20-20-10 triple dub for Sabonis against this New Orleans teams, they give up a ton of assists, they give up a ton of rebounds, they give up a ton of points, they give up a ton of everything. They give the second most points in the paint in all basketball, right behind Chicago. I just think Sabonis is going to be able to do whatever he wants here. If this game stays close, and we don't need Zion out, but if Zion's out, they get even thinner on the inside. Makovic, you think Makovic is going to be sticking with him? Get out of town. JRE's bouncing athletic, but I just think Sabonis is set up for an awesome game here. I like Monk too. Monk's fine. But what's the news here? What's the news? For what it's worth, Beers beat. Beast of the night was Dame Lillard. So the new Beast, we'll announce it here for beer, is Cade Cunningham. I like that call. All right. Yeah, the videos, it's got to be tilting making those every single videos. One person probably gets scratched at some point, but that's just how that goes with content. Can Alvarado have a bounce back game? Because in theory, there's an upside to him, but he was so horrendous last game. They also got shellacked too. Just sort of throwing it out there because nobody wanted to play him. Everyone wanted to play him before, and now people are falling over themselves to not play him. I'm not phrasing that correctly. You know what I'm saying? He was.
Yeah, good. I get what you're saying. Man, I just think that it's just too big of a slate. I have a feeling we're gonna like guys that are gonna be lower than him later on the slate. What do you think about Trey Murphy if Zion sits?
Do we run how much does he affect him? Because Trey's has got to make his threes. And does Zion help him make his threes? Does he space it? More people are concentrating on Zion. It gives him a little bit more open looks. I don't know. But that's what Trey's about. He's got to make a bunch of threes. I don't know. He probably gets more usage. I would assume it, for sure. He's going to take more shots. But as a run back, yeah. And I still think Alvarado is interesting. We're giving him 24 minutes. And I just think there's a path to him playing 30 if he's playing well. And you see when he has those games where he's a spark plug. Typically he's a spark plug off the bench, but and we're assuming he starts alongside McCollum. I suppose it's possible he doesn't even start. We'll see. Stay tuned. But that's like a large field conversation. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Oh boy, we're falling behind on time now. 25 minutes. 25 minutes until crunch time comes in. Plenty of time. Hit refresh, by the way, on the lineup HQ. I think they updated Milwaukee for us. Our projections.
There's our cheap point guard, Dean.
Who is it?
Kevin Porter.
Oh, yeah. Oh boy, he's so terrible though. But he's going to play a lot, right? He's going to shoot a lot. He's had games in the past. He thinks he's really good. So that doesn't hurt, I suppose. All right. Let's set that game up. Milwaukee is taking on – is that the next game? It is next, right?
Yep.
Milwaukee and the T-Wolves, 221 is the total. Milwaukee is got to be like a 10-point dog now at least. I've not seen the new line with Dame being out, Giannis being out. Anybody else of note out for Milwaukee? Connaughton's questionable. No, he's probable. Good for him. Mike Conley's questionable. Ant's questionable for Minnesota. He's got a hip. He's been on fire. He's been outrageous of late. Of course, Randall's still out. DiVincenzo is still out. But as things stand, we're projecting those guys in. Oh boy, what is the projection? I'm refreshing now. How good is the oh boy, they want me to play Kevin Porter and Kyle Kuzma? Are you serious?
Yep.
A who's who of who's terrible. But I get it. How do we feel about it? Because Porter's going to be he's 3-5 on DK. Kuzma's still not adjusting to his new role. I don't know new rules the right way, but he can certainly be the alpha out here if he wants to. Man, Milwaukee. What do we do with the Bucks?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Kevin Porter is going to be a really, really strong play. I don't know if I want to play Kuzma. I know that he's projecting amazing, but I don't know. I'm hoping I can find some better mid-range guys than Kuzma. But yeah, it's going to be hard to get away from Kevin Porter Jr. at 3,500 on DraftKings. I think he's what is he on FanDuel? 4-4 on FanDuel. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty tough to get away from him on either site. We have him projected for 26 minutes. Yeah, I mean we're pretty. I mean we're just talking about how we're pretty starved for value. So I mean I think that it's a reasonable play to play Kevin Porter.
So Javier in chat says, is Rollins not starting? We don't know. This is just what our projection.
Yeah, we're just projecting Kevin Porter to start. We don't actually know that yet.
It could be Rollins, which is worth noting.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yes.
So put that name in your back pocket. And it could not be Rollins, and Rollins can be the better play as well. Like that can also happen. He's still min 3K, and if you think this game gets like completely ugly, he probably closes over KPJ. I don't know. Maybe both close. How many guys do they have? They still have a lot of guys, right? Chris Livingston, Tyler Smith, Stanley Amudier. I mean, AJ Green. Somebody mentioned Portis. I saw somebody say Portis lock, and I don't think you know how expensive Portis is. He's 6'9" down on DK, and he's 8'1" on FanDuel. You can play him, sure, but I would not say lock for Bobby Portis. And he could also he could start, he could not start and still play 30 minutes. Yeah, Rollins probably does close if this game gets really ugly, I think. I don't mind him as a 3K dart. And again, stay tuned. If he's starting, then understand that he's going to project well. You can't project 19 different paths. The path they chose is Porter, Jackson, Prince, Kuzma, Lopez, starting for Milwaukee. And do you think Edwards plays? I don't know. I'm not sure. I assume he would play, but he's questionable, and they should probably win this game without him. Tim, I don't know. I'm not sure if that factors in. Conley questionable as well. Maybe one of those guys sits. Do they play tomorrow? Yes. It is the front half of a back-to-back for Minnesota. Who do they play tomorrow? Maybe that's relevance. Maybe
Diabate is out.
Oh, boy.
Jonathan Isaac is out.
By the way, Minnesota plays, we just mentioned that they're at home versus OKC on TNT. So, maybe if Edwards is a little banged up, maybe they give him the night and say, you know what, rest up for tomorrow. Tomorrow's a fun one. The last game going into the All-Star break, Ant versus SGA. I wonder where we're going to go with Nurkic as far as minutes. How many more minutes can they give him? Diabate out. Huh. Lillard still participating in the All-Star game and three-point contest. I'm sure he's really hurt. I mean, this is you're just asking to get fined, aren't you? He can't play basketball right now, but tomorrow he can do all these things. Okay. All right, whatever. It's just a bad look. I think it's a bad look. Anyways, okay. What if we lose Ant? Do we want to go that route, or do we want to just leave that for projection team? I just think there's a chance.
Well, we have an if then for that, don't we? I mean, you'd be getting to a lot of Naz Reid. You'd be getting to a lot of probably Jalen Clark, Alexander Walker,
Dillingham.
Yeah, I think you'd have to lose Conley as well to really get into the. Okay, there goes Tyrese Maxey. Maxey's out. Of
course he is. Once you see the Q, you know the O is coming. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a knee. Of course he does. Okay. I wonder if Brooklyn's going to counter. We might see some shooting in the other team's baskets tonight. Billy in Brooklyn. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. We'll see where our projections land. So we're going to get some value plays. We were talking about that there's not a ton of value considering it's a 14 gamer. We're going to get more. I hear your phone just lighting up. You're getting all sorts of notifications. They are not stopping. Anything else of note? By all means, share it. Herb Jones undergoing season-ending surgery. Yeah, we talked about that. Bummer for New Orleans. Bummer for Herb. Team 3 and D. Yeah. But our projection, by the way, is Edwards and Conley out. So, there's a pretty good chance that, I shouldn't say, there's a chance one is out. And then, the projections will not be as deep as they actually are, but they can't project every possible path in the if-then. Anything else? Do we like? How do you feel about Porter right now, or was starting point guard for Milwaukee? Let's just say that.
I like starting point guard for Milwaukee. If it was Rollins or if it was Porter, I don't mind that value. I'm a little bit hesitant on the Kyle Kuzma. Likely kind of chalky tonight. Really, really, really great projection. I don't know if I want to go back to him. We do need to talk about Nas Reed on the other side of this game. Like,
Sure.
Noto had him as a core play. Maybe not anymore, but he was cored earlier. I think Nas Reed. We don't have an amazing projection on him, but if we were to lose like Edwards, I mean, Nas would absolutely be a smash play. He's already a pretty great play as it is. So I mean, I think 7,100 for Nas Reed is somebody, just don't forget about him, because I mean, he can easily go for 50 here. Not sure. I don't think he's going to be super chalky either. So I really like Nas Reed today. I might even play him. I was going to say like 3 out of 3 in a 3 max, but maybe 2 out of 3 in a 3 max setting. I'm leaning heavily on playing him on my single entry team.
All right, 4 more games to go. Phoenix and Houston. 220 is the total. Houston's a 10-point favorite here. The Suns have ruled out Booker. Booker's not playing basketball tonight for Phoenix. He's out. Beal is out. Grayson Allen is out. Micic is questionable. As far as the Rockets, we have Şengün. Şengün officially questionable. FEV still out. Freddie VanVleet and Jabari Smith out for Houston. We saw the Bull. Bull was unleashed last night. He shot to the top of the Bull power rankings, flew right past Manute. We're assuming he's going to start once again. If this game stays close, it's probably because Durant is having a monster day, because a lot of usage is going to fall his way. But he probably gets on-man defense, right? That seems like a fair assumption. How do you feel about the Suns and the Rockets? And are we in on Bull chalk, which at least he was earlier? I'm not sure if he still is.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in on Bull chalk. I just think that he's got a really, really solid minutes floor. I think he's got a really solid floor in terms of fantasy output. So yeah, I mean, I'm in on Bull. 4,300 projected floor, right around 30 fantasy points. I think this is one of those. I mean, it's a really, really large slate, but I think this is one of those don't overthink it type things. So I'm not going to. He would be somebody I'd be getting well overweight in for GPPs. He's simming quite well also. So Sims does like Bull quite a bit. So yeah, I'm in on Bull. I think. Well, I mean, we did just get some point guard value. I was going to say, I think Tyus Jones is somewhat interesting as well. But now that we kind of have that Milwaukee situation, he might fall a little bit. But I mean, I'm probably out on Durant. Not that he's a bad play. People want to play him, that's fine. But I don't think he's any spectacular play. The Suns only have a 105-point total. It's not fantastic. So I think my Suns exposure is just going to be with Bull.
Yeah, and I was trying to think. You think he is the rare combination of starter / mopper? You think he mops like Gillespie, Ty Washington, Damian Lee, Oso, Monte Morris? Maybe he doesn't.
I was gonna say I'd be kind of worried that Oso takes his spot.
Yeah,
in like a true mop up role.
Not that they can't have them both out there. Like, who cares when the game's over? But yeah, I'm just trying to think if he would possibly have both roles. Yeah. Did you give a thought as far as Houston? I know you're talking about Phoenix mostly.
I can't see myself taking up a center spot with Şengün. So I think I'm pretty much out on Houston. Amen is obviously a fantastic player, but I think he's fully priced now. Jalen Green, I guess, would be my favorite Houston player. Pretty solid medium projection, around 39 points. Showing up with 16% projected ownership. I guess I don't hate that. I don't really love this game. So I think I'm pretty much out on Houston.
Lakers in Utah, 237 is the total. Lakers are 9-point favorites. We did get the update that Luka is good to go, officially probable. DFS is out. Dorian Finney-Smith unavailable. Maxi Kleber unavailable. Gabe Vincent unavailable. As far as Utah, Sexton's out. Michael Potter's out. KJ Martin is not available. Shibboleth is not available, but for the most part, their guys are there. Kind of a underwhelming debut, I suppose, for Luka on the stat sheet, but that didn't matter. They blew somebody out, and he didn't have outrageous stats. He's still pretty cheap. They're probably still going to monitor his minutes to some degree. Probably not going to push him too hard right before the All-Star break. We're giving 30 minutes to him for what it's worth. I don't think this game is getting a ton of interest ownership-wise at all. John Collins getting 10%. I think that might fall back with all the news coming in. But you tell me, how do you feel about Utah and the Lakers?
Yeah, I mean, this game is getting absolutely no attention in terms of projected ownership, like none. But I can't really see how you play any of these Lakers. Just with Luka there. Now Austin Reeves is too expensive. Rui's too expensive. I'm not going to be wasting a center spot on Jackson Hayes. So Jordan Goodwin was somewhat interesting earlier in the day.
Yeah.
But there goes Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's out.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Jordan Goodwin was getting some attention earlier in the day. I just can't, now that we're getting more and more value, I'm not going to be clicking on Jordan Goodwin. So I'm fully out on the Lakers. Like, yes, you can click on Luka. Yes, you can click on LeBron, but I'm not. I really would not be getting that much of them in large field GPPs.
So bump up Tatum, bump up Porzingis, bump to Pritchard. But yeah, our projection for Tatum is awesome on DK at 54 points. At least that's what it was in our if then. Well, under the assumption that Brown is out, and Brown was just ruled out.
Can I just say something about that real quick, Dean?
Yeah.
We didn't look at Zion's if then. Trey Murphy goes up to almost 50 DK points if Zion's out. Yeah. So, I was talking about how is Tatum a priority this early on in the slate? Okay, so you're taking up potentially one of those spots, and Trey Murphy is a way better points per dollar play than Jason Tatum. I'm not saying you can't play Tatum. I'm just saying you have to think about that because if Zion were to sit, Trey Murphy is a far superior play.
It's a good call.
Clint Capella is out.
What are they doing? Like, what is happening there? And the whole thing is
at least they did it before the game started.
But this is going back 8 games where either it's personal issues. A lot of weird things going on there, and they were trying to trade him and they didn't. By the way, I realized I didn't turn my light all the way up, so I got about a hint of red. It's a very strange. At least I don't know if it's coming across to you, but it looks really weird on my picture. So my apologies. Anyways, 2 games left to go. Yeah, Capella inactive. Are they trying to buy him out? I don't know what's happening. It's very odd. In any event, we have 2 more games. Portland, Denver. 234 is the total. Denver is an 11-point favorite. Who's in? Who's out? Well, DeAndre Ayton, he's out for a month or so. Scoot is out. Scoot Henderson's out with an ankle. Jeremy Grant's questionable with his knee. Chris Murray's questionable with a quad. And then Robert Williams is questionable with his knee. We're expecting Donovan Clingan to start, who's a hoss, a big boy. I don't know if you've seen Clingan before, but he's a big man. Good luck. Go cover that guy, the greatest player in basketball in the last 20 years or whatever. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic. The 3-time MVP in the Joker, Jamal Murray, probable. MPJ, Porter Jr., he's questionable. Aaron Gordon is questionable. Of course, we know Russ Westbrook is out. And Watson, that's Peyton Watson, not Randy Watson. He's out as well. We're starting to get salary savers, or if we want Joker, we can get Joker. How much do we want Joker?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that you don't really want Joker, right? Because he can go for 85 fantasy points easily here. Big blowout risk, I think, in this game. We just saw these 2 teams play. Yeah, I'm still leaning on the no side of Jokic, but it's definitely, I mean, I could definitely change my mind pretty easily. So he's not going to get chalky. He's still going to be pretty low owned. Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning no right now, but if we get any more really big news, really cheap guys that we can play, then yeah, I'll probably jump on. But as it sits right now, I think I'm out on Jokic. I think I'm out on Denver just in general. I don't think I can play Klingon on the slate. Like, I know he's 4,600. I know he can, get 20 rebounds, but really against Jokic, I think I'm going to pass. Anthony Simons at 6,300. I think he's an okay play. Definitely would fit that kind of like balanced build approach if you go that route tonight. So I think the only exposure from Portland would be Simons for me.
I would just point out in Klingon, I saw somebody talk about him being a foul trouble risk. His per 36 in the season is 5.8 fouls per 36. That's a lot. That's a lot. When you're a foul out in a per 36, not that he's going to play 36 minutes, but there certainly is a risk there.
Oh, but Butthole with the best point of the night there, though.
What?
Tonight is the Jokic bobblehead night, and it's Serbian Heritage Night, ? Oh, so he's not sure if it's Serbian Heritage Night.
How do you either know or you don't know if it's Serbian Heritage Night?
Right.
I don't understand. It's questionable?
We're gonna have to look into that. Now he's saying it is. So that's big news.
That is, you gotta, whatever we're projecting for him, you gotta have like 4 or 5 points or so. I don't know. Crunch time's coming in momentarily. We still have one more game to go. We got Roth, we got Neil, we have the Flannelverse, we got Juggalo Nation, we have Kirkwood, Kirkdiese. That's 3 people. I don't know why I said a lot of things. The Warriors and the Mavs. 233 is the total as far as that game. The Mavs are 7-point dogs here. Man, Dallas, they're losing centers again. No Davis, obviously. Exum is currently questionable. Lively, we know, is out. Now they lost Dan Gafford for a while. We're currently projecting Prosper to start. Oh, PJ Washington, a guy who could play some 5, certainly some small ball 5, and Golden State would accommodate, but he's questionable too. Dwight Powell, the other 5, he's donezo. No Caleb Martin as well. Golden State fully healthy, with the exception of Kuminga. Otherwise, everybody is good to go. Jimmy Buckets, good to go. He signed his 2-year extension. He's happy for at least a year. And Looney is officially available with his nose. He's got a face. He's got a face mask. He'll be rocking the face mask there. Come on, Looney. Any other slate, I'd be like, oh man, I really need to know who's going to be playing the 5 for Dallas. But I don't know. Do I care? I don't know if I care. Yeah, or if Washington plays, I think we'll get a fair bit of Washington at the 5. Prosper, I guess, could play a bunch of minutes. What is your read in this situation, the Warriors and the Mavs?
I mean, I was getting to a ton of Moses Moody earlier in the day. I don't know if we necessarily need him now but he is point guard, small forward eligible. He's 4,100, so I don't hate Moses Moody. I think he's a decent value. So I'm okay if you want to get to some Moses Moody. I'm okay if you want to get to some Steph Curry, obviously, in GPP. So a couple of people have asked about Jimmy Butler in the chat. In a smaller slate, I think I'd be fine with that. I think on this size of a slate, though, I really don't have that much interest in Jimmy Butler. So I'm out on Butler. I think there'll be some times where we can play him, though, coming up shortly. But this slate's just too big. On the other side of this game, I was getting to a ton of PJ Washington earlier as well. He's questionable. I would love to be able to play PJ Washington. There are just there's no late swaps for him.
What if I saw somebody say this in chat, not to cut you off, but you can at least buy up to 8 o'clock. And you can have Nas in there. Now I like Nas plenty, and if Evans
I was gonna play both of them.
Okay,
but I mean, yeah, you're right though. I mean, I do like Nas quite a bit. I mean, I was gonna play both of them, but he's questionable. It's the last game of the night, so it's kind of tough to play him. But if we got news that he was in, I think he's a fantastic play at only 7,000. So. He would be my guy from Dallas. OMP, power forward only, starting at the 5. I think he's okay. He's an okay value. I'm not crazy about it, but at least you don't have to waste a center spot on him. So I think he's a decent GPP play. I wouldn't mind playing a little bit of Najee Marshall as well.
Edwards, by the way, in according to chats. Lonzo Ball is out. Connolly out, but Ant in. Okay. So a little bit of adjustments there for Minnesota. I'm not sure if that moves the needle a ton there for some of the fringe Minnesota guys, but Conley out.
I would say probably would be right? That starts for Conley.
Probably. Yeah, probably. But like he's 5K. It's not like he's got to work his way up. Yeah. I don't think he's going to jump off the page as somebody I absolutely have to have. Not a high usage guy, but it is of note. I was trying to find somebody that would, because I like Washington a ton as well. And I think it's a good chance of him playing the 5 for a fair bit. We're only projecting Prosper to play like mid-20s minutes. I saw somebody ask Prosper versus Bull. I feel much better about Bull than Prosper. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, I definitely would prefer Bull over Prosper.
Yeah, I think Bull's minutes are more secure. Prosper still might start, but like there's no guarantee he closes. Marshall, Dinwiddie, Christie, those guys off the bench are going to get some run. We should have crunch time coming in here momentarily. I believe two-thirds of crunch time is here. Before we turn it over, though, I do want to know who's breaking the slate, Tim. There's so many moving parts. There's so many pieces. We got to get this right.
I don't think he's going to come in that chalky. So I'm going to stick with Naz Reid.
I like that call. He does fall back. I shouldn't say fall back, but like he had a chance to be elevated, and he's not because Edwards is in, but he still can get busy. I think starting against this Bucks team, it's pretty terrible. With absent Giannis, absent Lillard, a little bit of a blowout threat, but I do like that call. We are going to go ahead and let's bring in crunch time. Let's do it. Let's bring him in right now. All right, fully assembled crunch time. We have Neil. I don't. Is that not flannel, Neil? I can't tell.
I've been doing some dishes, so I'm just super like hot right now. So need to cool down a little bit.
Fair enough. We have Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, leader of the Juggalos, Juggalo Nation, and Kevin Roth. Roth, there's not a lot of time for shenanigans or nonsense. It is a 14 gamer. Every team is playing the association. The last game is not in the slate, but everybody's playing. I'm not sure how in tuned, how locked in you are, Roth, but it's a lot of pieces. If you're playing tonight, there's a lot of cheapies out there too. So it's going to excite you.
Yeah. But, I'm in. I like a big slate. I'm getting some big money. And Dean, I want to let you know, I now have a whole new movie list. I know you're a movie guy.
Yeah.
15 movies that I just put on my want to watch list. And I'm going to go back and forth with you as I watch them and let you know.
Send me your list. I'm curious. I'll give you some notes. I'll be that guy.
That sounds good.
I'm curious.
Right, I'm in on that. Okay.
All right. Myself and Tim, we got to make some lineups. You guys got 40 minutes of Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, and Neil and Roth. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it. Ladies and gents, you know the drill. It's crunch time, but it is a special crunch time because it's a massive slate and we got a lot to get to. And we got two of the sharpest minds in the biz, Kirkdiese, Kirkwood in the house. What up, Kirky?
Just feeling a little hot in here, after Neil took the flannel off. So,
all right. Whew. Getting steamy. V-neck. The V-neck.
Love to see
by
it.
the way. Got the scores and odds shirt hoodie.
That's cool.
That thing's fire, right?
That is fire.
Yeah, I wish they sent me one or something.
You're jealous.
And I again love your choice to just use the green screen with nothing on it.
Roth, that's the best.
Yeah, it just says like I'm the weatherman. I work on a green screen. These jabronis, they are not the weatherman. They do not have a green screen.
Yeah.
Kirkwood, do you feel good about this big old slate, man?
I mean, kind of. It's a little overwhelming, to be honest with you. This is just peak NBA nowadays. We've got 14 games right before All-Star break, tons of injury stuff. It's a little overwhelming. I mean, there's a lot of great ways to go. There's a lot of value everywhere that's popping up. There's more that's going to pop up. It probably makes sense to stay away from some of the early games, but there's one good early game too that I want action in. So, the Wizards are playing right off the bat. So Yeah, I don't know. You said you're ready to win some money, so let's make the best of it. Let's win some money.
Yeah, let's do it. My concern is that I'm about to load up on cheap chalk on a 14 game slate, and I know you probably shouldn't play anyone who's like 60% owned on a 14 game slate, and I'm going to do it anyways with dudes like Bol, PJ Washington. Like I'm eating all of that chalk, and that's probably really dumb. Neil, is that really dumb?
I don't think it's really dumb. I think what we've learned as people have been doing, Sims have come out, better Sims products have come out. You can just play good chalk. And I think that we might have good chalk today. Kevin Porter Jr. might look really good. Jared Butler. The one issue, so the one, to your point, we have so much like pretty good chalk that like I think has upside. I don't know that there's anybody that I want to have like 80% of my lineups that I want locked into my lineups across a 150 set. Like I don't know that we have any chalk that's quite that good. So I don't know that it's to that level. But like I also think it would be a mistake to full fade this chalk if you're playing even 20 lineups. Like if you're just like I'm taking out Bol and Kevin Porter Jr., all these guys out of my lineup because they're just too chalky. I think that would be a mistake. But you can kind of mix and match where you're playing Bol versus Kevin Porter Jr. versus Jared Butler, whatever chalk emerges. So yeah, I think you can play it, but I would be cognizant of how much you're playing it and how much you're playing them together.
Okay, good notes. And also, I generally just tend to throw in like a kind of low-owned superstar and be like, oh, nobody wants Wemby or whoever the hell it is tonight. I'll play that dude. And then
you nailed it. Nobody wants Wemby tonight.
There you go. Like I'll probably play him and be like, he still has 70+ fantasy point upside. Okay, well, guys, let's dive into it here. We've got 35 minutes until lock. We want to start with some FanDuel talk. We want to start at point guard. And Neil, we want to start with you. What do you like?
Okay, give me 1 sec. For some reason, my screen is give me 1 sec to refresh my screen and tell you what I have right now on FanDuel. Okay, so my latest run on FanDuel at the point guard position, I have a ton of Kevin Porter Jr. He's just 3,500 min priced. Oh nope, this is DraftKings. Sorry, 1 second.
You're all right.
All right. I think I'm still going to have a ton of Kevin Porter Jr., but let me take a look at it. Yeah. So at point guard, why don't we start with Kirk? Because I think I need to.
I do. It's either me or you doing the same thing. I'm always like, okay. So we got on FanDuel. It looks like Jared Butler is going to be the chalk that's coming through now with Tyrese Maxey being ruled out. He's cheap. He's he's coming over from Washington. He's somebody he can score. So he's been some good chalk in the past. Now, am I a little scared of it? Sure, I'm a little scared of it. Brooklyn plays pretty good D. They play pretty hard, but I think it should be all right at that price. So you got to play some Jared Butler. Kevin Porter Jr., like Neil was saying, is still a good play on FanDuel. He's 4,400. He gets, Dame is out. It's like, this is your night, Roth. This is when you throw it. Did you lock Kuz in already?
Yeah. Yeah, we got to get some Kuz, some Wemby. I got to go to my guys,
Yeah, because Kuz and Porter and Porter Jr. and Bobby Portis are probably the ones you want the most. Cade Cunningham back-to-back, but hopefully this game's a little closer than 46 point lead at the half or something last night, which was just insanity. Jalen Brunson bounce back spot is in the mix. Derek White gets a bump now with Jaylen Brown out. Malik Monk has the great role in a good matchup against New Orleans. You've got Kyrie Irving, your boy that we can play, and kind of a sneaky. You're not really sneaky, but if you want to play the early game, you're probably going to want to play Siakam and Bryant. So why not throw Jordan Poole and hope he goes absolutely berserk like which he is possible he can do. But so that's what I got for FanDuel. So I'll let Neil.
Okay, quick aside, and this is just a personal question. We got LaMelo out. Who do I want to play in Charlotte with LaMelo out?
Samson or whatever.
KJ
Simpson. He's kind of rough though.
He's 4,900 on FanDuel. So like with so much great value, even though like he's seen his projection is you see a significant boost, he's still like he's just way more expensive than KPJ, Jared Butler. So he's not like a huge priority, but he's somebody that you can play.
Okay, good notes. What are you doing at point guard, Neil?
Yeah, so I'm getting to a ton right now of Jared Butler. And I don't know if we have that confirmed starting lineup. I don't know if he's confirmed the starter in Philadelphia. That will obviously impact how much I want to get to of Jared Butler. I'll say the same thing about Kevin Porter Jr. Somebody was asking in the chat if he is the confirmed starter. We don't have that starting lineup yet. And that will be pretty important to me with regard to how much Kevin Porter Jr. I want to get to. I'll still probably play some, even if he's off the bench, just because I think he should be getting some pretty good usage when he's on the court. But I'd like him a lot better. I'd be more comfortable playing 40%, 50%, whatever of KPJ, maybe even 60% if he is the starter. So I just want to say that. So those two are by far the two that I'm getting to the most right now. And then it's Derek White at 6,700. Cade Cunningham, love the matchup with the Bulls. Kyrie Irving. That's it as far as double digits for me.
Okay, good stuff. How about shooting guard?
Shooting guard, again, it's KPJ. Amin Thompson, I'm getting to a lot of right now. And I haven't done that much to my player pool. I've made a couple adjustments, but I just want to say that up front that I've done more to my DraftKings player pool. Ant at 9,700 against this beat up Milwaukee team looks pretty good here. Quentin Grimes, 4,800, might get the start. Should see some boosted minutes. Derek White again. Bilal Coulibaly looks good at that. It's at lock, but that game is one that sometimes I like to just completely fade games at lock, but I think this game is just too good. The Pacers Washington game. Zach LaVine, Nickeil Alexander-Walker looks good on FanDuel, especially at just 4,700. Should get the start. And that's it for me as far as double digits goes.
Okay, Kirkwood, your thoughts at shooting guard?
Yeah. So first of all, Amin Thompson looks amazing. Guy is an absolute bucket. He is an absolute great defender. Just stuffs the stat sheet. Phoenix is bad at defense nowadays. 25th in defense rating, missing a couple of key guys. They also played a tough game against Memphis last night. Where shout out to me, I went 10-0 in player props.
Oh, let's go!
In that game, I just unfortunately I bet a little smaller than I usually do, but I went 10-0, so it was awesome. But anyways, Anthony Edwards is also a phenomenal play. The dude is balling right now. He has to take it's him. He has to be the scorer to step up. And this is a great matchup now with a thinned out Milwaukee team. Kevin Porter Jr., it's the same thing, right? Like, so you think about Milwaukee, they're going to need Dame is out. They don't have Middleton anymore. They don't have Giannis because he's injured. And who can get buckets? Like, that's all you're trying to do is like, who's a natural scorer? Kevin Porter may be like bad ultimately as a basketball player, but the dude can score. So love that. Derek White again. Zach LaVine, maybe. I have a little interest. And also maybe Jalen Green. Some like if Amin Thompson doesn't stick it to Phoenix, like Jalen Green will probably be the guy. Also, like Neil said, Coulibaly. And again, I like some Jordan Poole.
Okay, very good. Small forward.
All right, small forward. There we go. All right, so Brown is out. Tatum. It's the Tatum. I don't know if you caught the game the other night, but he did the whole thing again where he didn't score in the first quarter, and then he scored like 31 points. He scored something ridiculous.
It's like he tries to prove a point, whether he's like, I can score, or I cannot score, I can do it all. But like, how about you just dominate?
No, he's just like he likes. I think he's like likes to like. I'm just gonna let everybody else do it unless I have to, and he's like kind of lazy in that way. Like he's also lazy when he's taking possessions off and stuff. Like,
I love how much you hate him. It's really fun for me.
I like him. I actually love him, but again, it's a love-hate thing.
Yeah.
But again, it's tough to be a Tatum fan sometimes. But anyways, love him. I do love him tonight. Also love Anthony Edwards. You can play him at the small forward spot. Again, you can play him on Thompson. I would try. Durant's going to have to do it all, but I would probably on a back-to-back here on those legs. No, thank you for me. So I'm going to fade that one. LeBron James in play. PJ Washington is a great now, is a good play, but I wouldn't, there's been talk about him potentially, sitting this game, but as until we see something, who knows? But Kuzma, your guy, makes a great play at the small forward. I like Franz Wagner, but I'll wait him. I don't want to get that roster spot with him in the early games. He's like not that good of a play, so I'll sit that one out. I think Jimmy Butler is pretty good play. again, it's tough. The GPPs for sure, and then Kelly Oubre with the Sixers situation.
Okay, good stuff. Neil, that brings us to you, small forward.
Yep, at small forward, and we did just get the news that Ty Jerome is out unexpectedly for Cleveland. So just wanted to note that might change what we're doing at point guard a little bit, but probably not that much. Small forward, Amon Thompson again getting to a ton, and Jason Tatum, I'm getting to a good amount. Quentin Grimes, PJ Washington looks pretty good at 7,000. Kyle Kuzma with both Dame and Giannis out should just be chucking it. So he looks pretty good, even at 6,500 on FanDuel. Josh Hart looks good against Atlanta. Kevin Durant, I'm getting to double digits. I think I'm okay with that. Zach LaVine, Bilal Coulibaly, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, and LeBron is the only other player I'm getting to in double digits. I think Jimmy Butler, that's a good call. I do like Jimmy Butler here. So I might give him a little bit of a boost. I'm not planning on playing on FanDuel, so I guess I won't, but I think I might there.
Okay, good stuff. How about power forward?
Yeah, power forward, Jason Tatum, Kristaps are my top two. PJ Washington, Pascal Siakam, great matchup with Washington. Kyle Kuzma again, Al Horford, Josh Hart, Kevin Durant, LeBron, Gershon Yabusele, and Goga Bitadze, the final player that I'm getting to in double digits. Also love Naz Reid here against this weakened Milwaukee defense.
Okay, good stuff. Kirkwood, that brings us to you, power forward.
Yes. My computer is freezing. Okay. Also like Naz Reid. Hold on, give me a second. Amateur hour here. I love Jason Tatum, as I said. He should be up for this game at home against Wemby. Also, Porzingis should be up for this game. So one of those guys I think is going to have a good game for sure. Maybe both. 8K for Porzingis seems pretty reasonable. Love Siakam against Washington. Just a guy that can stuff the stat sheet in that matchup for sure. Also like Kuzma, as we said, the Sabonis. Do we have any? What do we have on Zion? Is he a Q tag right now?
I believe so. Yeah.
Tag on him. Yeah,
I think he's a Q tag, but I'm
trying to find.
I've not looked at the latest actually.
Well, all right. If he doesn't play, like Sabonis should have the easiest path to just absolute dominate the glass in this game. So if Zion's out, give a boost to Sabonis and get him in. Naz Reid. Yeah. So I think he's going to be out because I assume he's always going to be out because he's lazy. But all right. Josh Hart, I'll take a back seat on. Good spot, good projection. Guy can stuff it, but I don't know. With the back-to-back here, and there's so many other options, I think I'm going to pass there. And then also the Dancing Bear, Yabusele for Philly. The price tag's a little high, 5,400, because he's definitely benefited from people being out already, but I still think it's reasonable.
Okay, do you want to note real quick? Elf is starting, and he's 3K. I assume that's got to be DraftKings price.
Right.
Are we interested in a 3K Elf? And maybe he's 3.5 on FanDuel. I don't know, but any interest there, Kirkwood?
I am certainly.
He's 4,300 on FanDuel.
Oh,
just FYI.
Okay. Not interested there, or
I'm interested. The guy can go off if he gets the minutes. If they're starting him, they're probably planning on playing him a bunch. Charlotte is a disaster right now. This is a guy playing for his spot in the league, and has a bunch of experience. And we've seen him in this situation when no one thought anything of him, and he went for like 50 fantasy points or something. So yes, I have interest at 3K.
Okay, and there's like a 3-1 guy. I'm sorry to be. You know what? Let's finish up FanDuel center, and then we'll start.
You're building your line. You're just building your lineup first. That's what you're doing.
There's a few like 3K guards now, so I've got some DraftKings thoughts. But let's finish this. Kirkwood, what are you doing at center on FanDuel?
Bull after just nuking last night. What could go wrong as chalk on a back-to-back against a really good defensive team like Houston? What could go wrong? So do what he's like grading out projection wise as the best player the best play in a great spot. I don't really I would fade him personally on this slate. But okay, I'm playing them in like my cash stuff lineups, but for GPP, I would definitely take an underweight position. Thomas Bryant, I think he's a good play. You get the revenge aspect. I'm a sucker for revenge back against Washington. Plus, just cheap enough and should see a bunch of minutes. Played really well last night. Is a terrible defender. So that also is better for the other side of the team, anyone who tracks the glass on the Pacers. Cat nuked. Looks like a good play, so I guess I should probably play him. But I'm a little scared there, too. I think Brunson bounce back is probably the answer for this game against Trae Young and Atlanta. Joker, obviously, the highest ceiling on the slate. And then also Donovan Clingan in the matchup against Joker. They just don't have anyone anymore at center. Robert Williams is out, and that Ayton just got hurt the other day terribly. So Clingan, if he's good fantasy point per minute, he's foul. He hacks. Has foul trouble. That's a concern against Joker. Did just play him and scored like 31 fantasy points in limited minutes or something. So I'm on board. I'm a UConn homer though, so just wanted to throw that out there. But also then Jalen Duran bounced back, who played terrible. They just really didn't need him to do anything, but maybe he has the big game tonight against the Bulls that we were expecting last night.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Neil, your thoughts at center?
Yep. At center, I have a ton of Kristaps. Get into a lot of Bol. I definitely understand the hesitation there, especially he's 4,900 on FanDuel, so a little bit tougher to play and only center eligible. So definitely, if you want to fade, I think that's viable. Thomas Bryant, I think looks great. Just Washington is a matchup you can always attack. Al Horford, I am getting to a lot of just in kind of an unencumbered run. I don't think that I would actually want to play that much Al Horford. I just don't know that he has the ceiling that you need for the. I guess he's power forward eligible, so maybe you can play some, but I don't totally love it. Goga, I'm getting to double digits, and then again Nasri just a little bit under double digits. I do think Cat looks like a pretty great play at 9,600, even though I'm not getting to double digits there. Sabonis, I like that call out. We did get Alexander Sarr is starting, which is sort of interesting, but I'm not getting double digits there.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff, guys. I want to kick it over to DraftKings first, though. We want to make sure everybody's got the best deal in the industry. And this is it right now. Get your first month of Combo Pro for $79.99. That's just $15 more than PGA Premium. It's only $5 more than NBA Premium. It is a phenomenal value play. Also, check out our props and pick'em package. We've got that going for a discount right now. Features daily prop picks and fantasy pick'em selections from a lot of your favorite RotoGrinders experts. We're knocking 50% off the price of your first month when you sign up with the link below. So make sure you are taking care of that. We got to kick it to DK, and we got to start at point guard. Neil, I'm forcing you to start here. We now have Elf at, I think, 3K. You've got, let's see, Butler at 3.1, KPJ at 3.5. All of those dudes are point guard eligible, and I have no idea who I'm trying to prioritize here.
Yeah, it's tough. And part of it's tough to say, especially right now, because we don't know for sure that Jared Butler and Kevin Porter Jr. are starting. So it's a little bit tougher to rely on them. Peyton's going to project the worst. Currently, I'm getting to the most of Kevin Porter Jr., even after I docked his projection a little bit. Just if he starts, he's going to look pretty awesome. Should play big minutes, should have big usage with several players out for Milwaukee. So I think probably Kevin Porter Jr. will be my favorite, but again, that's contingent on him starting. Jared Butler, again, also contingent on him starting, will look really good. And then Elf is kind of third of that group for me, but also the only one that we know is starting. So I'm going to play a good amount of Elfrid Payton. And currently what I'm getting to at point guard, KPJ is the player I'm getting to the most. Jared Butler, the second most. I'm actually getting to more Ant than Elfrid Payton, even after docking Ant a little bit. But then Elfrid Payton, my fourth most exposed at point guard. Jalen Brunson against Atlanta looks great. Amin Thompson again. Anthony Simons, Derek White. And that's it for me as far as double digits goes.
Okay, good stuff. Kirkwood, your favorite to point?
I love the price tag. I mean, all these guys should smash for the price tag. So Kevin Porter Jr., I'm on board with totally. Love them. Gerard Butler, I'm fine with. I like Elf too. And you get Elf revenge. Like, I just think Elf is gonna go off like playing for him, like on this team in this situation. So give me Elf over Butler, but you can play as many of these guys you want. Kate Cunningham, awesome play. A little worried about the back-to-back, but it was a breeze of a game last night. Jalen Brunson bounced back. I already said that. I liked him. You can play Amen Thompson at the point guard position. Probably prefer him at small forward. It doesn't really matter, but he's an awesome play. Curry is probably going to be pretty overlooked on this slate and can go off. Jordan Poole, ownership seems pretty low because of that higher price tag and just he's Jordan Poole. But again, you're on a huge slate like this, you're chasing ceiling, and Jordan Poole is a guy who can absolutely go off there. So, and same thing with like Trae Young. Like there's a lot of, and like Donovan Mitchell. And like if you've noticed too, Donovan Mitchell has no chill in him anymore. He used to be like the guy who would just take quarters off or like be like lazy in situations. Like he's fixed that. He has no chill. So like against even if the matchup is cake, he's going to dominate and keep going as hard out as he can. So play some of these guys at really low ownership.
Okay, very good. There's got to be some sort of projections issue going on right now because we've got Joe Ingles showing 14 minutes and 60% P-owned, and that seems probably wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that's... Oh, it looks like that is in the process of getting fixed for what it's worth. Okay, Kirkwood, take me to shooting guard. What do we like there?
Again, it's a lot of the same names. Anthony Edwards, Kevin Porter Jr., Derek White, Donovan Mitchell at extremely low ownership. Like I said, like 8,300 seems kind of low. Also with Jerome out there, just saying, like he went off the other night. I think he's going to go off tonight. So 8,300 looks reasonable. Even if it's like 3/4 blowout, he can smash through 8,300. And then other guys like Anthony Simons look pretty good. Malik Monk with his situation, running point now. Jalen Green, I already said I like. Same thing, same names. Quentin Grimes, fitting in well. They love him in Philly so far, and he's playing pretty well. And with Maxey out, and this is a pretty good spot for him actually at 4,700. So don't mind that at all.
Okay, good stuff. Neil, your thoughts at shooting guard, please.
I want to correct myself. Gerard Butler, who I was already corrected in chat, and I've continued to say it wrong. I also want to say just point guard because I didn't get to double digits. Like Trae in Madison Square Garden looks pretty good. I'm not going to get to double digits, but I think he is a strong play. Shea looks good. So there are some pay ups at point guard that I really like. I'm just not getting into double digits because there are so many good values. At shooting guard, it's again KPJ, Ant, Quentin Grimes I'm getting to a lot of right now. Actually, there's kind of a big gap down there from KPJ tier 1, Ant tier 2 in terms of how much I'm getting to them, and then down to Quentin Grimes, Anthony Simons, Karis LeVert, and Zach LaVine and Derek White are also getting in double digits currently.
Okay, good stuff. Then go to small forward for me.
Yep, small forward, getting to a ton of Tatum, easy to spend up there. Kyle Kuzma again, Amen Thompson, Quentin Grimes, Zach LaVine, Karis LeVert. Currently, those are the only players I'm getting to double digits at small forward.
Okay, easy enough. That brings us back to Kirkwood. Small forward, your thoughts there. By the way, we have people, I think it might be power forward, asking about my boy Gooey. Gooey, that guy.
I doubt I'm going to get there today.
No? Okay.
Kirkwood, well, at least
not
a ton, I should say.
Any Gooey? And yes, I realize that's not how it's pronounced.
Yeah, no thing. Not with that pronunciation. No way I'm clicking on him.
That's fair. I think that's a good choice. Okay, what do you like at small forward?
Jason Tatum. He's got to show up against Wemby here in this matchup.
Can I just real quick, as I try to build lineups, I have so much freaking money, and the only real spots to spend up are at small forward or like at forward essentially, because I've got all this value at guards. I've got centers that I definitely want to play, like Thomas Bryant. So that leaves you spending up at forward, and that leaves me on your boy. And is everyone going to play him and Jokic because we have all the money? Is everyone doing that?
He's going to be like 30% plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he goes off, though.
Okay. All right. I'm playing him because I've got $1 billion to spend.
Ben
he's
Thompson,
most expensive too.
I mean, he's kind of up there in price. He's going to be much lower owned.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, sorry I cut you off just to rant.
You could play LeBron if you want to do. If you yeah.
I'm weirded out.
See,
yeah.
This is the same thing the optimizer's doing. It's saying
right. Yeah. Putting everybody in the same spot where I landed. All right. Anyways, what do you like there other than your boy Tatum?
Yeah, Thompson, Tatum, Kuzma, like all of them. Denny Avdia is interesting for cheaper, kind of lower owned play with thinned out front court. Ayton there. I don't think Robert Williams is going to play, but he is technically questionable, so watch that. Jimmy Butler again, I think makes for a good tournament play. PJ Washington, if he plays, I get that spiel already, but if he plays, should be massive amounts of usage for him and Kyrie. So like that, and yeah, I'm gonna bail. I was gonna say Zach LaVine, but no thanks.
Okay, I think that brings us to power forward, Kirkwood.
All right. You can play Tatum at power forward position. You can play Mr. Bol at power forward position. You have to play him at power forward position. 4,300. That's really enticing. It looks like more of a bust potential on FanDuel, but then again, you get the blocks and steal stuff. But when you see 43 on DK, it's really hard. Going to be hard for him to bust. But you can. I am scared, and I do think there's ways to beat him potentially to go for that route. Siakam, I love. Durant, I'm down on. Just looking at kind of like higher ownership guys here. Kyle Kuzma, I like. Bobby Portis, I love. Naz Reid, I love. And yeah, that's pretty. I think kind of a low-owned GPP potential good play. I think John Collins could be a pretty good play.
Okay, good stuff. Neil, your favorites at power forward?
Yep, at power forward, getting to Bol is my highest exposed currently. Jason Tatum is still number 2, although I think you made a really good point, Roth, and I actually docked Jason Tatum a little bit. That like getting to like the field getting over 30% when there are several other good players on a 14-game slate. I don't think that I want to get like 50% Jason Tatum, so I'm docking him a little bit.
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma, Pascal Siakam again against Washington looks great. Bobby Portis, I'm assuming that's kind of assuming he gets the start. I'll probably dock him if he does not. Kevin Durant, LeBron, I actually gave a little bit of a boost to. There is some chance that Luka misses this game. Luka is questionable, so I think LeBron is kind of a sneaky play that could be really good. And obviously, when you have him in your lineups, you have more late swappability. PJ Washington, I gave a big boost to Matas Buzelis because I think his minutes are kind of being projected towards the lower end of where I think they could be around the industry. Yeah. So I think he's pretty interesting, but I'm still not double digits there.
Okay, good notes. A. Dean says, by the way, Luka is now probable, apparently. So
I have a quick question. Was Şengün always questionable?
I don't believe so.
Then he's not going to play if that's what's going on. He's now questionable, but I don't know.
I'll have to double check that in a second.
Chat, Dean, somebody knows.
Yeah, somebody.
All right.
Tell us.
Javier says he was always questionable. So
okay.
If he's out, then are we on board with Amen Thompson pulling down 12 boards?
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're on board anyway, but yeah,
that's
he's absolutely
that's a good point.
Smash. But
okay.
Potentially.
Yeah. Neil, I want to go to center now, which is my next spot where I'm worried everybody's got the money, everybody's playing Jokic. Right? He's the safest play. So is his ownership just through the freaking roof? It's
not. Jokic is kind of contrarian. So you actually, if you're in on Jokic, that's a good spot to load up. The chalk is going to be Thomas Bryant against Washington because he's only 5,000. Bobby Portis, which people will come off of that if he doesn't get the start. So I think those are going to be, and then Kevin Durant at center eligible. Donovan Clingan getting a good amount of ownership. So I don't think you have to worry about that with Joker, and I think that makes him a pretty strong play that I should probably give a little bit of a boost to. But currently, who I'm getting to, Thomas Bryant, Bobby Portis, Kevin Durant, Karl Anthony Towns against the Hawks looks great. Donovan Clingan, Kristaps Porzingis, and I'm just under 10% Naz Reid. I also I'm not getting double digits, but I think Day'Ron Sharpe will look really good if Nicholas Claxton ends up shooting. So I'm trying to get him a little bit more into my player pool, reserve some more spots for him.
Okay, good stuff. Kirkwood, what are you doing at center?
Oh, and Claxton available, by the way. We just got that news. So
Gotcha. Okay, good stuff. Kirkwood, your thoughts at center?
Yeah. So if you're breaking down center tonight, it's the cheap value play, like Thomas Bryant. Everyone wants to play, right? So if you want to if you want to start your lineups a little different, I was going to say play Joker, but that's going to be the first step. Well, if you really want to be a little bit different, Roth, Wemby is going to have no ownership, literally none.
I did it. I did it
that
because everything else I'm doing is so chalky.
That's just wrong. I don't care how good the Celtics defense is. I don't care how, you know what I mean? That's just wrong. So that looks like a good spot for me. It may not work, but in the times that it does work, you're going to love it on a huge slate like this. So Porzingis in play just because of the price tag, 7,800, and with Jaylen Brown out and in a matchup, I think they bring it, like I said. So as your resident Boston homer, I think they bring it, and they do pretty well. Sabonis, and I think he's a great play, and I think if they what's his name? Sorry, I got stopped.
Şengün?
No.
Where were we?
Zion. What am I?
Yeah, Zion.
If Zion doesn't play, Sabonis definitely shoots up to me. I just think he'll just dominate. Bobby Portis, Clingan, Naz Reid, the same names. And that's about it.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. I feel like we did pretty good. Let's get to some QQs. If you're watching this for free on the YouTube, hit us with the thumbs up. Last I checked, we had less than 100 likes, and that's mildly insulting, but I'm not going to take it personal. So make sure you're hitting that thumbs up for us. Your favorite game stack tonight, Kirkwood, what do you like?
I don't really like a game stack, period. Such a big slate. I think that's for 6 games or lower typically. Can happen. You can pull anything can happen, but more you just want to nail every player. But if I had to pick, I would say early. I just think that this Pacers and it's like anybody against Washington. So I would do Pacers, and I would run Jordan Poole and maybe someone else if you want to, or just Jordan Poole.
Okay, good stuff. Kirkwood, back to back for you here. FanDuel Cash, Grimes, Yabusele, and Thomas Bryant, or Elf, Kuz, and Bol.
Sorry, I was reading the comments. Say it again. People are getting on me because I said if it does work.
Yeah. It might not work, but if it does work, you'll like it. Oh, you don't say. Grimes, Yabusele, Thomas Bryant, or Elf, Kuz, and Bol. The answer in cash is probably Elf, Kuz, and Bol.
Yeah, I'd like that anyway.
Yeah. Let's see. Neil, coming to you. If Charlotte is blown out, will Peyton be a guy that hits the bench first?
I don't think so, because he's not he doesn't usually get a ton of minutes. So even though he's a vet, I don't necessarily think that he would be the first to the bench. Mm-hmm. That's good question though. I don't know if we've seen this scenario though, so I don't know that I know the answer to that. But I don't think necessarily.
Okay, Neil, DK Cash. Should we wait for news and hold off on the early games? Are you playing? If you were playing cash, you playing anything in the early games?
Yeah, let me see. So we've got. All right. Peyton's in the early game, so I don't think that you should necessarily hold off there. I think he would be somebody I would consider the early games. Thomas Bryant looks good for cash for the early games. So I think that those are the two that I think I might play in cash from the early games.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Let's see what else we've got. Thoughts on Goodwin, Kirkwood, FanDuel Cash, or am I reaching?
That's I think he's definitely coming up. He's getting, he's getting minutes. His minutes are going up. He's playing well, and they're going to be there in that second unit. But I think that's reaching for cash.
Okay. Another cash one here. Kirkwood, Zinger or Siakam for you?
Siakam.
Okay. Next question here is from Blink182. Am I really silly, Neil, for liking Trey Murphy in a large field tournament? I know you want shooters against the Kings, and his name is Trey. That's what he said.
I don't think that's silly at all. He's not getting a ton of ownership. Certainly has upside. He'll look even better if Zion is out. But yeah, I think he's definitely playable regardless.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a dude. Yeah, he's a dude I've been getting to a lot lately and have not been disappointed. JP says, Neil, Klingon and Franz or Bryant and Durant? DKGPP.
Bryant and Durant for me.
Very good. Jumping into the YouTube. Hit that thumbs up for us. Let's see what we've got. Here we go, Neil. Jimmy Butler or PJ Washington on GKGPP, or play them together?
You certainly could play them together. Let me look at the ownership there. So it's Jimmy and who's the other option?
And PJ Washington.
So I think that they're pretty different in terms of ownership. So if you're playing a pretty chalky lineup, I will go to Jimmy. If you are pretty contrarian across the board, then I'd maybe go to PJ Washington.
Okay. Kirkwood, Jim says, I can't fit in Jokic, but any interest in Braun for Denver? Brown? I think it's Brown.
Yeah. I think he's fine. I don't really, he's kind of lost in the shuffle tonight. I mean, if you had to, I wouldn't mind playing him, but why not just, if you can't fit Jokic, unless your spot's already used, but why not just go Klingon?
Yeah. Okay. Cleveland Picker says Elf Reporter on FanDuel, Kirkwood.
I'm my boy Elf. I used to be called long time ago in RG. I've been here way too long. I was the Elf Whisperer at one point when he was actually for Orlando. I could call that guy's games when nobody else could, but it's been a long time. So I'm going to go back, rekindle some of that, and say this is as the Elf Whisperer, Elf triple double, like my boy said in chat here. Someone just said that.
I think the Tiny Hands call today is going to be Elf.
There it is.
On board. Well, Tiny Hands play of the day is Elf here. Kirkwood, I love it. I'm in on that. The rekindling the old Elf Whisperer magic here as we close things out. Gentlemen, we have hit the lock. We have done the things that we came here to do. We gave the plays. We answered the questions. I think we're going to bounce on out of here and watch some hoops because we've got plenty of them to watch. So for Kirkwood, for Neil, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been